Good morning everyone. Tony here from Victoria, Australia on a nice spring morning here in Ferntree Gully. And following on to Keith's discussion with these ST16, I thought I'd just follow up with a few little details here on the Smart Controller. Now I do have a few air radios here. I've got 6 and I've got 1 surface radio. I'm not going to go into details, but what we're going to talk about today is this one, the Smart Controller. Now, just come over here so you can see a little bit better. Now Keith, very similar to the ST16. Very similar. It's a lot smaller, more compact, easy to transport. I'll just quickly go through some features. This is the antenna that flip up and hidden. Oh, is that going to focus? Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's it. Hidden underneath the antennas there are a couple of spare gimbal sticks. So these gimbal sticks are removable if you want to put this in a padded bag. Now, they're the spare ones in the back there. You have a speaker here. We'll try and get that, that's better. Got a speaker here. And these ones here, C1 and C2, they're programmable switches, or buttons I should call them. Fully programmable. Down here's a vent. Up the top here you've got camera controls, gimbal pitch, on and off the button for the video. Here's one here for photo, and if I flip that down, you'll see here I've got USB-A port there for an extra monitor. You've got a removable storage there, SD card, and HDMI out. I've tried the HDMI out on the TV inside. Very good. So that's just basically the controls on the back here, on the base. See if I can get that. Yep, that's it. You've got a USB-C port for charging and firmware. Firmware is generally done through an app on the computer or the phone, which it doesn't have to be, but it's recommended. There's a screw-in little slots here for the lanyard to fit on, which I have. You don't take this out to the field without a lanyard, I'll tell you now. If you drop it, it's had it. So, just on the front here, see if I can get that so you can see it better. It's probably better like, it's pretty hard to, there we are, that's better. Here you've got a pause switch button. So if you get into trouble, press that and it'll stop what it's doing. Here's return to home. So if you hold that in for about 2 or 3 seconds, it will return to home at your preset altitude. Here's your flight mode switch. I obviously have got it, oh hang on, get that, there we are, flight mode switch. Position, that's satellite position, sport mode and attitude. So there's a 3 position there. There's your on and off. Now if you press it once, it'll give you the level of battery within the unit itself. And there we've got three dots. So it's, what is it? It's 3 dots out of 5. No, 3 dots out of 4. So it's not too bad. And this is very interesting here. This one here. This one is a rocker switch, left and right, up and down. And also a button that you press. All right, very, very important. And on the side here, you've got a return. So if you're in a menu, you can return back to the previous menu. And this one on this side is a select switch. So if you're using the 5D button here, you can do selecting. You don't even have to touch the screen. It can all be done by these buttons. Very interesting. So we'll just turn it on, just to give you an idea. So again, it's press once and then press again until you hear that tone. And you go and make a cup of coffee while you see it boot up. Now, in the settings, if I drop this down, you'll see here a record. Don't know if I can get that real close. No, you're not going to be able to see it. But in the settings here, there's a record. Now, if I press that, oh, it's recording now. So you're going to get a proper screen view because I'm recording the screen. Okay? So if we get out of that by pressing the return button, of course, up the top, you've got your interface. And you can see down below here, I am recording the screen. So I'll just come back here because we don't need to sit down. I guess you're now viewing the screen. Now, as I say, at the top, you've just got some quick settings there. You can go to more settings here. You do your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, aircraft management, more. Go share, tethering. Yeah, there's quite a few things there. You can hit the back button again. Display, compass, because it's got a compass within it. Sound, storage. So this has got an internal storage of 69.48 gigabytes. That's not bad. Plus the external one I've got plugged in the top. That's the SD card. Factory reset. You can set up the time, system updates. That's just in there. At the top right, you've got the time and also the internal battery energy level. And on the bottom right, you've got, there's all your apps and your settings again, tips, quick start guide, you name it. There's even a browser there. You can go on the internet. So we'll get out of that. This one here, that's the second from the right at the bottom right. This is all your media. The media on your SD card. Okay. And albums you've got set up. All your photos. And we go back by pressing the back button again. Now, if I go connect, this will show us all the different aircraft we can connect with. Mavic Air 2, 2 Pro, 2 Zoom, 2 Enterprise, 2 Enterprise Dual. Well, you know what that is. It's got the FLIR camera. Phantom 4 Pro. Hit the back button again. Okay, so it's very versatile. One transmitter, one radio. That's all you need. It does cost a few dollars, but you only need the one radio and you're going to have many aircraft connected to it. Now it only runs the OcuSync 2.0 transmission system. So the transmission system's only good for those aircraft that are actually listed in the aircraft management section of this radio. So I can't connect the Inspire 2 with this. It runs a different transmission system, unfortunately. So now, to get the Mavic 2 Pro going, again, we just press the button once and then again hold it in. Now if you have a look on the screen, it should connect straight away. There it is, it's connected, Mavic 2, and we just press the go button, and there's another interface there of the Mavic 2. There it is there, it's doing a version check, and the firmware version is up to date. Okay. Another way to check the firmware version is, there's 3 ways. It's automatic, or you can go down to myself here, then go up to settings up the top right, and go check for updates on the bottom list there. And it says latest version now. So you can clear the cache here, or cache as you call it there in the USA. Sky Pixel on the bottom there. You want to upload your video to DJI Sky Pixel, you can please yourself with that. I've never used it. Press that back button again. Then you've got the editor. There's the editor. Now if you're not computer literate and you just want to do a quick edit, maybe out in the field or whatever, you can do it right here. You can add music to it. So you've got dancing beats, happy drum. I mean, you know, really. Really. And so here we go. The bottom left hand is your equipment, and that's what we've got there. Now if we go to fly, like that, there's the camera view. We'll just turn it away a little bit. We don't want it looking at me. Nice view of the front of the house there. Well, okay. We can go to, well, at the top there you've got the 3 dots, settings, and on the left of that you've got the battery. On the left of that you've got the HD link, the strength, and then there's the radio strength. And to the left of that, that little green and red icon, that's your obstacle avoidance. And to the left of that, you've got satellite, and of course it says we've got 7 satellites. That's not enough. It won't fly with 7 satellites. I think you need about 14. I'm pretty sure you need I'm not sure. I think you do need about 14. And if we just push that over there a little bit, towards the no, it's not improving, but it really doesn't matter. So the little green line there that's moving slightly, center, just left of center of top of screen, that's your battery indicator, and you can see it is moving very slowly, but that'll come down. While it's flying, it gives you an indication on that little white mark. It gives you an indication of what time you've got left on the battery. It's very handy. Here's your maps. So that's where we are. Now that is very handy. I know the ST16 has just got a little arrow in the middle, but the maps very, very handy. You don't realise how handy those maps are. Then we got the camera settings there. Now I can use the 5D button here to scroll. Maybe not. Camera settings there, video settings, And there's more settings in regards to the gimbal, etc. So we can press this button here to get rid of that, like so. All your flight modes, just there. I could show you a quick shot 5D button if I use that. No, it's not working on this one. But the quick shot, I'd like to show you that, but the Mavic's got to be in the air for me to show you that. But there's basically very similar to the ST16, really. I don't know. The interface is pretty much, you've got your telemetry at the bottom here. And if I tap the aircraft symbol there, it'll take me to the MC settings. Now that's master controller settings. That's the radio that I actually hold in the hand. Oh, I pressed the back button by mistake. That's the trouble with having big hands. Well, there you are. You can set your home point. You can set it from where it takes off, or where the actual radio is. Return to home at current altitude. Well, you wouldn't have that turned on. That's rubbish. You'll end up crashing. Intelligent flight modes. Well, I've got them turned on. I don't know why there'd be a switch for that to turn that off. I just don't know why. Return home altitude. Well, I've got mine set at 60 metres. So I guess that's 60 metres. What's that? That'll be 90 feet, maybe. Maximum altitude, I've got it set to 120 metres. That's okay. It's legal. Distance limit, I've got that turned off. You've got an advanced. You can go advanced here. Advanced settings, expo, sensitivity and gain. That's all been adjusted to my liking, but you can spend hours playing around in all this. Brake gain, yaw sensitivity, it's unbelievable. What to do if the signal's lost, return to home of course. Next one down is all your obstacle avoidance settings. It's just incredible. There's your remote. There's the programmable.
Point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
There you go. The home point's been updated, so it has connected with the satellites. C1 and C2 buttons now, they both have the same functionality and both can select the same selectable items. So if I just click on here, you can see here all these things here. I'll just scroll that down. Oh, hang on. I'll just scroll down here so you can have a quick look at what is selectable. Okay. Well, obviously I've got C1 selected as bottom auxiliary lighting. So if I turn that on, hang on to get the aerial out of the way. So I've got the aerial folded down. There you are. See that? That's the landing lights. And that's what I've got C1 button connected to. So if I can just turn it off like that. And C2 button, I've got centre focus. Which is, I won't go into that. Focus is in the centre. There's your HD link. I've got it set to auto. Your transmission, 12.6 megabits per second. That's not too bad, really. That's quicker than my Wi-Fi here in the house. The battery. This is very interesting. The battery pack, which is here. You can just touch it on the top. It gives you an indication of how full it is. And there we are. It's fully charged, this one. Okay. And it does weigh, it's It's a 4-cell 3850 milliamp hour battery, and if we check it, it weighs 293 grams, which is 10.4 ounces. Okay, I think it's a bit lighter than the Q500 and the Typhoon H battery. It's got the same amount of cells. It's only a 3850 milliamp hour battery. I think the Typhoon H is a little bit more than that. I can't be sure. Maybe you can enlighten me on that one, Keith. So yeah, there's back to the screen. You've got the battery, each cell. You can see the voltage, the temperature of the battery. Mind you, these batteries, they're smart batteries, but they won't. These particular ones won't heat their own battery. They haven't got internal heaters, not like the Inspire 2. I've got the battery warning set to 25%. Time to discharge, I've got it set to 3 days, but you can have it set to any of that. I think 3 days is fine. And details, this is interesting. There we go. Production date of the battery, how many times the battery's been cycled, and the current status is okay. That's pretty important, actually. So where were we? We just went all out of there. So there's the gimbal. You can calibrate. There's all these things in here are the same with the Typhoon H. There is one thing. There is one thing with the gimbal. It's let me see. Adjust gimbal. No. Oh, you can adjust. Here we are. You can adjust the actual roll and yaw of the gimbal if it's not quite right. But I've never had that. You know, you can correct it. I've never actually had to do that. That's not been an issue. Really. So without going on too long, that's basically it. I think you'll agree it's quite a nifty little unit. I think the advantages of this, what's that noise? I can't believe it. Look, I think the advantages of this, Keith, number one is the battery. It's a smart battery. You know exactly where you are on screen. It discharges by itself. You don't have to connect it to anything to find out what the cells are, you know, how charged it is. You just press the button. If the battery shows up in the app as being faulty, the aircraft won't take off. And so what you can do is push and hold that button in for about 4 or 5 seconds until the light goes out, and that clears the memory on the chip inside, and you can put it back in the aircraft, and sometimes it's okay. I've done it before and it has worked, and I've been able to take off, and I've not had any more problems with the battery. It's just something about it. Sometimes they show faulty when they're not, and that's another thing too. If these are like 0.05 of a volt difference between each cell, it puts out a prompt faulty, and the aircraft won't take off. Unlike the Typhoon H or the Q500 or any of those, the battery's really got to be sad before something goes wrong. You can still. I remember with the Typhoon H, I could still take off when the battery was not quite good and a little bit puffy. But with these, they've got to be almost showroom condition before they work. But this one's been charged, I think it was 7 times. So that's not too bad in 2 years. It's 2 years old and I've only charged it 7 times. So that's not too bad. I expect to get maybe another couple of years out of it. I don't know. But yeah, so I hope that, well, if I just press that, that's right. That's what I wanted to say. The 5D button. If I go back to fly, now the 5D button, that's that button I was showing you. Now if I press it to the left, there you are, the exposure value goes down. Okay. Now if I press it to the right, that's a neutral exposure value now. But if I press it to the right, you can see it going up. Okay. So we'll get it back down to neutral there. Now if I go up, hang on. If I go up, it's not supposed to do that. I obviously haven't got anything programmed in for the up and down. What about the button when I press it? If you press the button, your flight modes come up. Okay? That's interesting. I'll have to go into that and check that out, but that's programmable. It's probably not what I really want. But if I get out of there and press that twice, and then go into the Explorer, now I can actually navigate using the 5D button like that, and then press it to open it. Okay, and then internal storage. So I can go there, go down, SD card, internal storage. There you are. You've got there's 5.3 gig used of 11.2 gig. That's the internal storage. That's not bad. So you can navigate, you're just using the 5D button and nothing else. Downloads. There's the media files. Video cache. We'll just get out of that by going in the back button. Back again. And so yeah, there's your browser. And that'll bring up a browser. There it is. Okay. So you can browse the internet while you're on here. Very much like the ST16. I think they introduced a browser onto it when one of the later firmwares. Flight info, quick start guide. Have a look at that. I've never looked at it. Look at that. All the this English is the one you'd want. No, the 5D button isn't working. I've got to press that with my finger. So there you go. You've got a quick start guide. Tell you all about it. I mean, you could... It's only got 12 pages to it. Yeah. So if you look at number 11, that one there is a customisable C3 button. And I don't think I've ever bothered to customise it. So really, it's very interesting. I mean, you could pause the video and look at that. It's quite... the batteries are the internal batteries are lithium ion, 5,000 milliamp hour. That's interesting to know. So if I wasn't talking to you, Keith, I wouldn't have gone in here and had a look at all this. Weight 630 grams. Was it 630 grams? Let's just double check. Oh, I've got it here. It's, hang on. It says 630 grams. It's not 630 grams, it's 713 grams. So I don't know where they get that from. I really don't. And I've got nothing extra on it. Anyway. So what do you think, Keith? I really think, just to cut a long story short, I think the maps on it and the battery are probably the two biggest points, and the remote, the size of the remote and what it can do. I think they're the three biggest points altogether. So who knows? Next time you crash your Typhoon H and it's not repairable, you might think about getting the Mavic 2 Pro. It comes in two versions, just for you and me. It comes in a lot more versions, but the other version is the zoom, so it's got a camera on it that you can actually zoom closer. It doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather fly closer. But that's the difference. This camera is actually better than the zoom camera. This is a Hasselblad. So if you look at it there, that's another thing too. If I get out of this, go back to camera view, you can actually manipulate the camera just by putting your finger on the screen, and you can actually rotate it left and right. Up and down. Yeah, that's just a little added feature. Very interesting. I hope you got something out of that, Keith, and anybody else that's watching. I just love it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you very shortly. Thank you.